Where are you at on Kyle Pitts this week?
Oh God.
Versus the Civ, could you just see it? You're high on Mariota. Could this finally be the Kyle Pitts game?
God, here's the thing. Like Kyle Pitts dudded last week, and we're all given crap of like, oh, Kyle Pitts did terrible. Kyle Pitts was trash.
Targets and air yards. If you're a targets and air yards guy,
Kyle Pitts, yes, he didn't even get 30 receiving yards, but if you were watching the game, there were 2 or 3 passes that were, as you mentioned, air yards, and Mariota just missed him by this much. And if it was a dry environment, man, that is like a 20-yard reception, of 25-yard reception. And we're talking about, instead of 2 for 8 or two receptions, 28 yards on 8 targets, we're talking 4 receptions for 70 yards on 8 targets. And that is a complete shift in narrative. He's not tight end 22. He's more like the tight end
9,
6, even, you know, like we're talking a completely different narrative. And this is, as we mentioned, Chicago, they traded away 2 of their best defensive players right before the deadline. And we've seen that the ramifications happen. They average 38 team points given up the last 3 games since the trading deadline. And that's why Fields is Justin Fields, because the Bears have to be playing catch up. And Eberflus has said, go for it, Fields. Like, you do the offense. If you need to run, go for it. If you need to pass, go for it. And, you know, I think that this is going to be one of those interesting games where you could see Kyle Pitts going 5 for 85.
Yeah. It's a difficult one because he's hurt you so many times. But you know, you've seen these things happen where a guy starts extremely slow, the narrative is written, then he has a couple games to end the year where they're strong, and all of a sudden he ends the year at like tight end 10. And you're like, oh, you know, it's not a total bust. He was tight end 10. Even though if you drafted him, you're still hurting. I just wonder if this is the one that gets it started.
So looking at what Kyle Pitts, I looked at his extrapolated stats. So like you take what he's doing right now and you project it over 17 games. And there were only 7 or 8 tight ends who put up what he is projected to put up this year from last year. And we're calling Kyle Pitts a bust. Like, it's only a bust because you invested like a 4th round pick on him or a 3rd round pick on him.
4th round, Bradley. I mean, I took him higher than that in tight end premium a couple of times. So it's
right. And so you're feeling hurt because he's not returned dividends, but like, he's not in the same tier as like a Dawson Knox, or, you know, you mentioned earlier in the live stream of Robert Tonyan, Hunter Henry. Like, those are the types of, he's significantly above those players, but his consensus right now in Fantasy Pros is tight end 10 for this week. I've moved him up to 8, and I feel like even like I'm too low on Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, it's I have a couple of lineups where, you know, I'm thinking about trying to jam him in there, and it's you feel like this apprehension, but it is the matchup, and he does get the targets and he does get the air yards. So this could be the week. I'm holding out hope.